right, hello everybody. Today we are going to do some talking about pouch slings because we've had a couple questions on the board recently about it, and probably because I've been posting a couple pictures of my love of pouch slings. There's been some interest in learning about pouches. And so this might be a little bit of a long video because I'm going to kind of go through how you size a pouch, because it's one of the most important parts of a pouch sling. And then we'll also show you a few different ways to wear the pouch sling. If she gets uncooperative, then we might stop and start and put up a couple of videos. But the first thing they want to do is talk about sizing, because if she wants to go ahead and get in a minute, then we'll go ahead and do that. So I've actually got a few different types and styles of pouch slings, so we can kind of break down the anatomy of a pouch sling and sort of explain how it will work to you. So first of all, I'm going to show you what the pouch sling looks like, and it is literally just a big tube of fabric. It usually has one seam, and almost always the seam is curved, so you can see how on this side it has a curve for the seam. And if I was just to kind of hold it any other direction, it would be flat. So the reason why it has this curve is so you can put the baby's bottom there, and they have that kind of natural curve to their bottom, the curve of their spine, and it actually creates a little bit more of a pocket for baby's body to go into. So some other anatomies of a pouch sling is you can kind of see on this rail right here how it has some padding to it, and none of the other rails are just a flat stitched seam. So when you have a pouch sling that has the padding associated with it, you can use it one of two ways. To put on a pouch sling, first of all, you're going to fold the fabric inside of each other to make a more condensed tube, kind of like a sash basically. So now you can see I've got the four edges put together on one side, and the other side is just the folded seam. So when you put it on, right now I've got my padded rail on the outside of the sling. So if I was to be wearing a newborn in a front facing, or not a front facing, but a front tummy to tummy position, I'm gonna have that padded rail on the outside to kind of give a little bit of cushioning to the baby's head. But because I've got a bigger baby, what I'm going to do is unfold it, and I'm going to take the padded side and put it onto the inside. So it's going to sit on the inner rail whenever you do a larger baby in a front facing or a front tummy to tummy, heart to heart position, and it's going to kind of cushion their legs, or if they're on a hip carry like I'm kind of holding her right now, then it'll also help to kind of support those legs. So that at that point it's going to go on the inside of your little folded seam that you made here. So when we're talking about sizing, real quick, the easiest way to size your pouch sling, if you have one available, you can go ahead and put it on. Let me put her down for a second. Hopefully she won't scream at me. So to put it on, you're going to take one hand, insert it through the pouch, and put it over your head. So when I've got it up on my shoulder, what I'm going to do is take my seam and sort of pull it downward, and I'm going to tube it up in a kind of a little ball. So it's on basically like a beauty sash, just like this, and my belly button is right here, just so you can kind of see where that's at in the level. So when I pull it tight, I want to be able to pull it right about my belly button level, but I don't want to be able to pull it so far down that it's on my hip. Basically, your heaviest point where the baby's bottom is going to be shouldn't be sitting any lower than your belly button. So that's kind of a good idea of how to do sizing. If you want to take a tape measure and do your sizing, then you can start with the tape measure up on your shoulder, go sway-do loosely across your body, and have it end at your side point around where your belly button would kind of be on that opposite side. And then whatever that measurement is, you're going to want to do between 2 to 4 inches of that would be the measured length of your pouch sling. So And that's sort of the basis of sizing your pouch slings. And it is really important that you have the proper sized pouch, because if you have it too small, then baby is not going to be able to extend and breathe properly. So too small is definitely a very big issue. And if it's too big, then baby's going to slouch and not be properly supported. So having a proper fit is sort of the vital importance of a pouch sling. But thankfully there's many, many different versions of them out there. And you can find them thrift stores and things like that for, I pick them up for like $2, $3, less than $10, like all the time. So there's a great option. And you can see how far that they will just fold down. You can even put them, in diaper bags. There's the ones without, there's ones without any padding whatsoever. And I have literally folded these down and just put them in a pocket. They fold down super, super small. This is one of the 7 slings, by the way. I'm sure you've seen the free promo code for those out there. I have several of them. I do really like them. Again, I'm going to sort of show you sizing. This one's just a teensy bit big for me, so when I pull it down, it does almost come down to my hip. But if you find one that you have that's just a little bit too big for you, then one trick that I do, usually when you'll put your sling on, you said you're going to put your hand through with the opening up at the top and go over, and then baby's just going to slide down into that pocket, which I'll show you when we get to that point in a minute. But if your pouch is just slightly too big, then you can take the seam opening, so my folded part with all of my edges, and I'm going to put that on closest to my body, then flip that over my shoulder, and I'm going to find my seam, which I got crooked here. Here's my seam. So now I've got the folded edge on the top, which obviously isn't going to make a very good environment to try to put a baby into. So what I'm going to do is take both of my hands, and I'm going to just hold one edge and the second edge, and I'm going to flip it to where my pocket now opens up at the top. And then I'll pick up my baby, and I'm going to put her feet into the pocket that I made, and as I reach down, I'm going to grab the top, and I've got the bottom with my other hand, and I'm just going to flip underneath her butt and pull up across her body, and then that helps to so that will help to tighten up a pouch if it's just slightly too big, to kind of show you that little trick right there too. So now I'm going to make her mad, and I'm going to pull her out, and I'm going to put her in a better sized pouch for us, just to show you how the process will actually work. And you can do it many different ways. We'll show you a couple different things. First thing I'm going to do is just pull this up over my shoulder. See, she's going to get mad because I'm taking her out now. Hold on. We're going to put you in a different one, okay? We're going to put you in a different one. Alright, so this pink one fits me a little bit better, so I'm going to use the pink one. And once again, when I put it on, I've got my padded rail folded onto the inside. I'm going to take the hand and slip it through with the folded edge going closest to my body as I put it on. And when I grab baby, I'm first going to find my seam, and if I'm doing a front tummy to tummy or heart to heart position, then I'm going to put the seam right here in the front, and I'm going to grab her baby bear real quick. Where's your baby bear? Okay. So we're going to still baby bear for just a second and pretend like I'm doing a newborn carry real quick, just to show you a few options right there. Hold on just a minute. I'm fixing his legs real quick. Alright, so for a newborn, you're obviously going to have them up on a front tummy to tummy or heart to heart position. So I'm going to start with my seam right here. I'm going to hold baby up over my shoulder. And what I'm going to do is just open my little pocket right here. And I'm just going to guide baby down into the little pocket. If the baby is legs in, that is perfectly fine. You're just going to want to make sure that the pocket itself is not putting pressure on the legs. So I'll show you how the baby should look in just a second. But then we're just going to feed baby down and make sure their legs are situated. And as you can see, this is very loose in this top rail. So to adjust a pouch sling, you're just going to follow this piece around, grab it and flip it over your shoulder. And you can pull all the way down across the back if needed. And usually the deeper your pull on the side, the tighter it will make this portion right here. So I've obviously made my baby very mad. I'm going to pull this up real quick and show you a legs out. So for legs out, we're just going to take little guy, and I'm going to take this bottom portion of my sling, and I'm just going to give a little tuck and push up under their body, situate them down, and then once again, just readjust my pockets right here. So that would be a front tummy to tummy style position. Another way that I really like, if I can get her to quit fussing at me for just a minute, is I'm going to hold baby and support them. And I like to just make this a tube of fabric with newborns. So just kind of gather it up. Find your seam. That's exactly where baby's bottom is going to go. And then I'm just going to lower the baby onto that tube. And I'm going to make sure that their bottom is supported with the bottom of the sling and the tube itself. And then we're just going to find the top rail and pull it up and feed it up and around the body. So even if baby's legs were to be froggied up at this point, then I mean that would still be fine. So they would just be kind of froggied, but you know that that fabric is still fully supporting the baby under the bottom instead of them sitting on their legs. And then once again, just kind of pull your shoulder strap down and adjust. So I'm now gonna do a hip carry position, which is what I actually started off because my padding is on the inside, as I said, for a hip carry position. So I'm gonna give her baby hour. Here's your baby hour. And I'm going to move my seam over to my hip. So you can see there's my seam on my hip now. And I'm gonna pick up my baby and her baby. And I'm going to support her bottom with one arm. And I'm going to take this other hand and I'm going to feed it between my body and the sling and just use it to kind of pull the sling out so I can feed her legs through. She's fighting with me on that one. So I've got her legs bed into the sling itself. As I said, you can see how she's now sort of sitting on that tube, as I talked about a minute ago. So she's just sort of sitting on the tube of the fabric. And so from there, we're just going to feed the fabric up over her body. In a hip carry position, you want it to go about armpit level, so that way they're nice and secure. My seam is just a little bit off. Okay, so I'm also going to reach in and make a seat. To make a seat, I'm just going to reach underneath her leg, grab this bottom part of the fabric, and then I just kind of pop it up underneath her. And readjust our back if needed and pull it back up some. And once again, as you see, this is very floppy. So I'm going to take this portion and just grab it, pull it over, and then we have a nice and secure hip carry position. And now she's wanting some milk. So while we're here, we might as well show you how to nurse in the position. I'll unfold my shoulder, and then what I do is take this back leg and just sort of pull up on her bottom, take her back leg and flip her around and sort of pull the sling to adjust somewhat. And then I can just get her in the nursing position, adjust as needed. a little support as needed. If you need to flip this back over, you can do that as well, just to kind of make it a little bit more hands-free for you. So now she's in a good nursing position. We should probably let her stay there for a minute. So you can also do opposite with a smaller baby. Doesn't work so well once you get to a newborn position, but if you have a smaller baby, you can put them in the sling in sort of the football hold position. So I would push this in this way, or if it was, you know, my baby nursing in the pocket of the sling, just kind of situate them on the other side. And that's one way that you can also nurse in the carrier if need be. You can do a couple other positions, which I'm not going to be able to show you at this moment, but we can always do other videos on it, but I'll kind of demo how they would look. So as your baby gets a little bit bigger, usually around that 3-month mark where they have pretty good head control, but they're not ready for a hip carry necessarily, then you can do some people call it a kangaroo carry, or a Buddha carry is what it had previously been called before. Go, both of you, go on. So what you would do is just get your sling situated with the seam on the center points again, and you would just keep your pouch close together. I'm grabbing another one. So I'm gonna kind of do it over top of this baby real quick. And I actually, when I think of it, I really actually do like to tandem wear with pouch slings. It seems like it would be a little complicated, but it actually ends up being kind of nice. So you would have your pouch sling on, and because she's kind of taking up my whole middle side at the moment, it's going to be a little bit harder. But I would just keep my 2 inner rails put together and keep kind of a little pocket there. And you're just going to take baby and sort of situate their legs in locust kind of position here, so kind of crisscross applesauce. And you would just feed them down into your little pocket and pull up as needed, and then adjust your shoulder cap so you can do a sort of front facing out type position as baby gets a little bit bigger as well, which is really nice. And some people really like that position as the baby gets older. You can also flip him over to a back carry when you're pretty confident and secure in your wearing skills. That's something that I recommend for a new wearer, but definitely a potential option for later on. So the only other kind of thing that I didn't show you that I had planned on going over is the different types of slings to a little bit further extent. So I've got a hot sling, which is actually a hot sling that I'm using now, but to show you the pieces and breakdowns. They have the curved seam, and they also have the padded rail, which, as we said, for most carries it's going to go against the knees, but for a newborn carry you can put it on the outer portion against their head. And sizing wise, again, you just measure from the top of your shoulder to the opposite side, about to where belly button would be on the natural curve of your waist almost. If you have the sling on and you pull it tight, then you just don't want to be able to pull it all the way down to your hip bone, because then it's obviously going to be a little bit too big. So you can also have adjustable slings, and there's a couple different on the market. This is one example of an adjustable sling, and these will work for several different wearers. They're not as common, and they're usually a little bit more expensive because they can work for multiple wearers. So this one has zippered pockets, or zippered little pouch here. So you remove this Velcro pouch Velcro piece that I have, and then you'll just set the zipper for the amount of length that you need. So you can see how it takes it in that far or all the way out. So it'll fit a wider range of potential users, which is kind of nice. And then you'll just, some of them have Velcro, so you would Velcro back and down. So that's the way that some of the adjustable pouches work. Another important thing when we're talking about pouch slings as well is that you do not adjust the sizing of your pouch sling for your baby. The size of the pouch sling is going to work for the wearer's body. So unless I've lost or gained a significant amount of weight, which I mean can happen postpartum if you get a sling immediately after birth. Then you might potentially need to adjust. But I can get my 4-year-old in the same sling just like I can get a newborn in the sling. It's sometimes you don't do as deep of a shoulder flip, but otherwise you can get pretty much anybody in the same. My baby's going to sleep. So you can get pretty much anybody in the same sling despite the sizing. I'm going to pull this up a little bit so she can go to sleep easier.
Where's my mouse?
So, go away. Go. Alright, so that is the basis of how to use a pouch sling. And you can see how we've got her in it. Oh, I forgot actually. I forgot to go over a semi-reclined or checkmark position. So let me do that real quick. If you have, I wouldn't do it a ton, but if you have a baby who's just not overtly happy in the tummy to tummy position and you want to try something a little bit different, then we can do what's called a semi-reclined or checkmark position, and this is pretty much exactly what the baby's going to look like inside of the sling, just not inside of the sling. So their head's still going to be up and supported. It's going to rest kind of right underneath your collarbone, so still up and on your chest itself. The bottom is going to be down inside of the little pocket of the sling, and the legs are going to be sort of up and semi-reclined. It's almost exactly what I've got going on right here. So this would be considered a semi-reclined checkmark position. The legs can obviously come out the other side of the sling, which would be the most preferred, just to make sure that they're not getting balled up underneath the baby. But if they do want the legs inside of the sling, then you can just kind of leave them up in that pocket as well. So key points is just to make sure that the airway is open and up, and that there's nothing kind of causing the baby's head to go down. So if you have the sling fabric up, you can just kind of pull it over to about the side of their head, but you still see their face. Or you can do it on the opposite side, which this would be considered a reverse cradle carry because her head's on the opposite side of the rail. But you can do it on either way, whichever way kind of makes you comfortable. So you can do tummy to tummy as a newborn, legs in or legs out, just depending on their preference. You can do hip carry as baby gets older with pretty decent head support. You can do the kangaroo carry position in an outward facing position. You can do the cradle carry or the reverse cradle carry, which is what she's in right now. And if you're fairly experienced with a very cooperative baby, then you can even switch them around and do a back carry if needed. So that is pretty much cradle carries in a nutshell, which my babies obviously really like and find pretty fun and obviously very cozy because she's now asleep in it. And I'm going to get her a little bit better adjusted, and I guess she's going to take a nap. So it was a very long video, but I hope you learned some cool things about the pouch sling.